This is Bulldog Country, presented by Minnesota Power and Essentia Health.
What is up? Welcome to Bulldog Country. It's our weekly half-hour installment of news, highlights, and analysis of UMD Bulldogs athletics. Our chance to give you, the fans, a bit better idea what actually goes on here with these teams and these players that you see competing for UMD. Coming up in tonight's show, we're going to talk UMD men's and women's hoops. Both have individual players honored with preseason awards, and both are hoping for a better season than last winter moving forward. We'll also have UMD women's hockey coach Shannon Miller here in studio to talk about the start to that team's season and the hurdles yet to come for her Bulldogs team. But joining us first is UMD head football coach Kurt Weezy. Coach, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
A sparkling performance, I think we can call it. 57-3 this past Saturday over Minnesota Crookston. It was senior day for your guys. What did you see on tape coming out of that Golden Eagles game that you liked?
Yeah, I think we talk to our guys all the time about making sure we're playing the best football at the end of the season. After watching that game, our guys played a consistent football game. We had an opportunity to get some of our seniors in that game that hadn't had a lot of opportunity to play over their last 4 years, and Brent Jorgensen and Chaz Thomas and Steve Iaruli, and those guys played well. They performed well. We had a couple guys on the defensive side that ran scout team all week and still got into the game at the end of the game, made some checks and some assignments that were really sharp. So that was good to see from a team aspect that everybody was focused and played a real clean football game.
How important is it, not just those guys that you mentioned, but all your seniors who maybe we don't get a chance to see as much as we could on game day? They've stuck with the program, been major contributors to you in practice. That's important for a program at this level to have those guys. Yeah,
just a team camaraderie, what those guys have brought to the locker room over their 5-year career here, some of those 3 or 4 year career here. They've been phenomenal. It's a great class. Looking back on that class, through the program in 2009 when we signed those guys, I think we only lost 3 guys that we signed to scholarship. So a tremendous group of young men, not just football players, but academically off the field community. They've done a great job and have a lot to be proud of.
This is the first full class for you that you went through the recruiting process, at least for the offensive guys, and now you're going to see them graduate. So what's it like for you as a coach to kind of see those guys their entire time here at UMD?
Yeah, emotional. You don't want to let those guys go. Looking at those guys as we were shaking their hand, getting introduced before the game, sitting there thinking, wow, what are we going to do without these guys? So they've meant a lot to the football program, like I said, not just on the field but off. And they've set a precedence in our program over the last 5 years here about what Bulldog football is all about.
When you talk about off-the-field stuff, I'm sure it was an emotional day for all 21 of those guys, but for Colby Ring, you're a senior linebacker. He used the senior day festivities to get engaged before the game. What goes through your mind as a coaching staff when he approaches you to ask to do something like that, and kind of the planning that goes into that?
Well, it was a little different for me. Nadine had actually babysat for us before, so when he asked me, we were excited for him. I told our girls, so I think my kids were more excited, I think, probably than anybody else in the field was, possibly more excited than Nadine. But, we were excited for Colby and Nadine, a neat moment, I think, for our guys. Certainly something you don't see on game day very often.
We talked to some of the guys. They said they'd never seen Colby. He's played in national championships. He's played in big games against number 2, number 1 teams in the country. They've never seen him that nervous before a kickoff.
Yeah, I'm sure his pregame preparation that day was a little bit different, worrying about where the ring was as opposed to where his assignment should be on the field.
You were able to get a lot done offensively. Obviously, 57 points don't come easy. What was going right offensively? What do you want to continue into the final 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah, we were balanced offensively on Saturday. Drew was 12 of 14 to start the game with 4 touchdowns. We had an opportunity to spread the ball around, get a touchdown to Nate Zook and Austin Selvik on senior day, both career, first touchdowns for those guys. So looking at heading into this week and taking, the plan out of last week and putting it into the University of Mary, just consistency, not turning the football over, being good on first and second down will be important this week.
You mentioned the play of freshman quarterback Drew Bauer. Coming into the season, we always talk about it. That was probably one of the biggest question marks of your offense. And Drew has really grown into that role, and he looks completely comfortable now.
He is. He's grown into that position, not only from a leadership standpoint, but also just command of the position. He's done a really good job at the line of scrimmage, making checks, some checks that usually 3 and 4 year guys are making at this point in the season. And it's been nice that we've had those 21 seniors around him to help groom him as well, and also some really good skill positions, wide receivers and backs, our tight ends to get those guys at football. And sometimes your quarterback makes those guys look good. Sometimes those guys are making your QB look good, but they've complemented each other very nice this year.
And one other wrinkle is that your number 2 quarterback for much of the season, Eric Klein, a guy who in the fall you thought might split time with Bauer moving forward. Bauer kind of took control of that position. And then you looked at Klein and said, we want to get you on the field. This past Saturday, you put him in a wide receiver a little bit.
Yeah, just athletically, Eric's a 6'3" kid that can run. He's sharp. He's a leader. He's handled not starting in a phenomenal way. You know, his attitude's been good. So we want to find a way to get him on the field. We had some injuries at wide receiver the last couple of weeks, so it kind of was a natural progression. But he'll continue to stay a quarterback and work in at the wide receiver position from time to time, and then we'll see where things go from here.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Coach. You go to the University of Mary. We're going to have Coach back later this half hour to talk about that road trip for the Bulldogs. Thank you. We're going to take a break, but coming up, Shannon Miller, head women's hockey coach, will be here. We'll talk about the start that her team has had to the season. It's Bulldog Country on the My9 Sports Network. Welcome back to Bulldog Country. Joining us for this part of the show is UMB head women's hockey coach Shannon Miller. Coach, appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. My pleasure.
I think you're coming off a weekend against St. Cloud State here at home that probably results-wise you would term a little bit disappointing, but talk about maybe some of the positive, negative things that you've seen on film or just live from your team against the Huskies.
Yeah, it's poor performance-wise and it's poor points-wise for us. We got 2 points because we won in a shootout on Saturday night. We had a great performance on Saturday night. We did play really well. We just couldn't score. And then with, like 20, 30 seconds left, they pulled their goalie and they scored to tie the game. And then we won in the shootout. But honestly, Friday night's the key for me. Learn the lesson. We should have learned it last year and the year before. They don't respect the opponent. They think if they show up, they're going to win because we're UMD women's hockey. And we didn't even play on Friday night for the first 40 minutes. It was embarrassing. That's how bad we were.
But then you come back Saturday as a coach. I know you just get a tie win in a shootout with the new shootout rules of the WCHA, but your team bounces back. You said you were really happy with the way they played. Maybe not the result you wanted, but the pace of play was better.
Yeah, so there's 2 key lessons. Well, there's many lessons on the weekend. 2 key ones is Friday night you have to respect the opponent and respect the tradition of excellence of this program and the fans and show up and compete. Like, where's your compete level? Where's your pride? So that was one of the lessons hopefully learned on Friday night. And the second one was, yeah, we can respond. I mean, it's disappointing to end with a tie and a win in a shootout on Saturday night, but the truth is they showed up. We played very, very well. We competed hard. We were, without being disrespectful, we were 2 to 3 times better than St. Cloud and clearly deserved to win that game, but we didn't.
You've said all season long, leading up to the season, the first couple weekends, that this team can be an upper echelon team in the country, can get back to that national title pedigree that we've come to expect from your Bulldogs. What did you see out of training camp, out of your freshmen, out of your returners, that kind of made you believe so heavily in this team moving forward?
Well, when everybody's here and everybody's healthy, I think we're good. I mean, we are really good. When I watched us play against North Dakota and then obviously against Minnesota, we lost those series, but we were right there. And on the second game against Minnesota, we went toe-to-toe with them. It probably should have been a tie. A lot of people that know the game of hockey, that watch the game, said it should have been a 3-3 tie. At best, maybe the Gophers had the edge for a 4-3 win. And so it was like, hey, everybody's here, everybody's healthy. We can do this. We can get up into that top 8 again. Unfortunately, we do have injuries again this year, and we had them last year and the year before, and it's hard because we don't have the depth and we don't have as many people on the roster. It's killing us. 2
of the people that you were going to rely on heavily if you wanted to get back to that level were Jenna McParland and Jamie Kenyon, your captain, and they've really answered the bell as far as a leadership standpoint and their production on the ice so far. Yeah, they really have. They play together on the first line, and Kenyon just listens, and she works really hard. She's probably our smartest player. Jenna McParland is our most skilled player. And so we've got them together, and they both make plays, and Brickelick's a centerman there. She's a freshman, and she's young, but she really contributes with the playmaking. And so I am happy with Jenna's performance and production most nights, certainly not every night, and I'm happy with Jamie Kenyon's performance and production every night so far. You talk about Ashley Brickelick and Laura Stalder, 2 freshmen that have won conference awards for you so far this season. Are they kind of leading that freshman group for you so far? Oh, they really are. Laura Stalder's from Switzerland. She's actually a forward who's playing defense for us this year because we're short with defense, thanks to Team Canada and some other things that are going on. And so she's back there playing defense as a freshman and doing fantastic. I mean, she's really good. And then, Brickelick's a freshman centerman, and she's struggling a little bit. She says things to me like, wow, I can't believe how fast the WCHA is. I can't believe how physical it is.
I wasn't really ready for this. And so she's kind of deer in headlights, but once she settles in, I mean, she's going to be a really good player.
There are a couple things that are really unique that interest me as far as collegiate women's hockey goes. One of them is, we were talking that this isn't a league where freshmen go to the USHL like the men do. They take a couple years in between high school and college. They're coming in as 17, 18-year-old college freshmen and playing for you at a level that's much above probably what they saw in high school.
Well, it really is. The gap is unbelievable. Like you said, the guys get to go and play junior hockey and not go to school, and they train and they compete and they really get ready for college, and they're really young men when they get here. They're girls when they come to me. I mean, they're really girls. I mean, it's the high school level hockey is really bad, to be honest with you. It's bad. I mean, it really is compared to college. There's a huge gap. It's an ocean. Then they get here and they've been a stud maybe in high school hockey. I mean, they have. They've been the big goal scorer, the go-to person on the power play, and they get here at college and they just can't even believe that they can't get a point or they can't contribute much. But they're freshmen and they got to be patient, and I got to be patient.
One of the other things that is really unique just to college women's hockey is the Olympics, where the Olympic teams will take these collegiate players. It doesn't happen in the men's game. You lost Bridget Lequette. I know you took a jab at Team Canada. I know you're happy for her, but she's been with Team Canada this entire year. You lost a couple more, and you're going to keep losing them as we go through the Olympic process. Is that a coach's nightmare where the best players for you are playing for their national teams?
Well, it is for UMD hockey because we have so many kids from so many different countries. But that's been our pedigree, you know, right from the very beginning. That's our niche, and we've got to continue along that vein because it helps us. We're successful with it. But the Bridget Lequette thing, the reason I take a jab at it is Team Canada wasn't going to centralize her all year this year. They were not going to take her, and then all of a sudden in May, they give her a call and say, hey, boom, you're coming to Calgary, trying out for the Olympic team. So we lost her. She's our best defenseman, and we have no time to replace her. So she's gone, and there's nobody to replace her. And then Vilja for Team Finland, Marie Delarbra for Team Germany, and then Laura Stolder for Team Switzerland. A couple of them are gone right now for 2 weeks with their national teams, and then the Olympics are in February. They're going to be gone for a month. And the truth is we just need bodies to stand in there when they're gone, and we got to do the best we can.
When you're out there recruiting, how do you compete with that? I mean, the Olympics come up every 4 years. You want the best players to be here. The Olympics are going to come. You can't not recruit people who are going to be on their Olympic team roster, right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And we have to understand we've won many national championships in the past because of those Olympians being on our team, and specifically the Europeans. So you want to continue to recruit them. What you try to do is recruit a few extra players so that when they're gone, those kids step in. And obviously they're not as talented, but they step in, and hopefully you get them to reach further than they ever thought they could, and you have a good product. But when you have kids that don't get in, which again happened this year, we had 3 kids not get in, then all of a sudden you're shorthanded. And so when everybody's here and healthy, we are good. But when people are gone because they're injured or people are out for national team stuff, we just don't have the depth. We don't even have the bodies.
So the conversation this year is, are you going to be competitive this year with those girls leaving, maybe some of the injuries you've had, but it also sets you up for good news in the future because some of those girls are going to have to grow up very quickly this season for you, even if that means some growing pains.
Yeah, and what typically happens in the Olympic year is we do struggle through the month of February because we have a lot of players missing. But then in March, we're so much better because the Olympians come back to the lineup and they're better players because they've now just been with their Olympic teams for a month. And then these other kids that maybe didn't get to play on the power play, penalty kill, take special face-offs, whatever, they're doing that. They're playing that role for that month. And so now you put that together and we're actually better in March. The problem is you got to be ranked in the top 8 then before these kids go in February, which is going to be a really difficult task for us this year.
Well, we'll hope to see you after February, come March, national tournament time again, Coach. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach.
We're going to take another break, but we're going to have more after that. It's Bulldog Country on the My9 Sports Network. Welcome back. Barnum native and UMD women's basketball senior Katrina Newman has been picked as the Northern Sun Conference North Division Preseason Player of the Year. That's the second time in as many seasons she has earned that particular honor. Newman returns for her senior year after averaging nearly 16 points and 8 rebounds a game as a junior. She has been named her first 3 seasons with UMD to the All-NSIC squad, with 2 of those being first-team selections.
I hope it's really a big year for her in scoring. I hope she puts a lot of points up on the board, and I hope more than anything she stays healthy for 26 nights of her senior season and doesn't miss a single minute out on that floor.
Meanwhile, UMD men's basketball senior Brett Irvin was also chosen as the Northern Sun Conference North Division Preseason Player of the Year, but he has suffered a setback before games even started this season. Irvin has a torn meniscus and will be out indefinitely. The school made that announcement this week, saying Irvin has yet to meet with a surgeon to determine the best path for his future. He had averaged more than 13 points and 4 rebounds a game through his first 3 seasons with UMD. In volleyball, UMD's sophomore Ashley Hinch has been named the Northern Sun Conference Setter of the Week. She had 80 set assists over this past weekend as the Bulldogs swept Sioux Falls and Southwest Minnesota State. This is the 3rd time this season Hinch has earned that particular honor. And some soccer, the Northern Sun Conference quarterfinals were held this Wednesday. UMD was hosting Bemidji State. Duluth native Sonia Barr, the goalkeeper for the Beavers, she made 8 saves in the contest for the visitors. Late in the first half, UMD going to get on the board first. Duluth native Kelly Clune with the long throw-in. Danny Potter with the goal, her 11th goal of the season, makes it 1-0 UMD at half. They go on to the 2-0 win over the Beavers to advance to the NSIC semifinals. With that, we are going to take our final break here this half hour. More after that. It's Bulldog Country on the My9 Sports Network.
Bulldog Country is sponsored by UMD Stores. Check us out on the UMD campus or online at umdstores.com.
Welcome back. Nate Zook has battled back from 2 ACL tears to become a staple of the UMD defense at linebacker. As a senior captain this season, he's been one of the anchors of that unit's front 7. But this past weekend, a new role emerged for the former Moose Lake Willow River Rebel. On the other side of the football, more tonight on the offensive prowess of Nate Zook.
This UMD player profile is brought to you by Mining Minnesota.
After that run was stopped short of the goal line, the UMD coaching staff on the next play called on an unlikely guy to get the Bulldogs into the end zone. Lauders again is the back. This time Bauer's going to keep it. He throws it out, and that's a touchdown for UMD. Nate Zook, the Moose Lake kid.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago we had a few injuries with tight ends. They just asked me if I wanted to come over and learn some goal line, and you can't say no to that. And then we kind of had set it up earlier in the game, running a few power plays, and then we set that play action play up. So yeah, it was just part of the game plan. So.
A bigger part of the game plan for Zook this season has been with the UMD defense, a unit he has grown into with the Bulldogs since his high school days at Moose Lake Willow River.
Biggest thing that I've noticed is like the smarts for the game, thinking the game, thinking the big picture, like what formations they give you, where's the back set, quarterback set, what to expect to get is definitely helped me a lot. So
Nate's a quiet leader. He leads by example on the football field, in the weight room, in the classroom. He's done a good job for us, and to battle through the injuries he has and to have the senior season that he has so far has been, it's been a highlight for our team and also an inspiration to some of our other guys that have been dinged up a little bit.
And the offensive guys who now play with Zook after years of battling him on the defense, they couldn't be happier for his first collegiate touchdown.
I was pretty happy about that. I didn't get in on a run, and so it's really cool to see him score an offensive touchdown, especially on senior day.
And right now we are joined again by UMD head football coach Kurt Weezy. Coach, we just saw Nate Zook score his first collegiate touchdown. Talk about the decision to move him and another defensive guy, Wade Siebold, into that offensive goal line package.
Yeah, we'd struggled in that position or that package the last few weeks, and both Wade Siebold and Nate Zook had a lot of experience there in offense and in high school and had done a good job there. So both physical football players that were heady. That we knew we could move into that role and hopefully give us something on the line of scrimmage, in our goal line package.
Obviously, you trust Nate enough to catch the football in that situation, too.
Well, he'd been telling us for 5 years that he should be catching the football, whether it's kick returns or out of the backfield. But, happy to see him get a touchdown. He has to work on his celebration a little bit, but he was excited as well on senior day.
We were wondering who was high-stepping when it was 28-0. But we're going to talk about the University of Mary now. You go on the road. That's historically been a tough road trip for the Bulldogs. It's 8.5 hours away. So what do you expect out of Mary this upcoming Saturday?
Yeah, Mary's 5-4. They're a good football team. They have a very good senior quarterback in Craig Bignell. Defensively, they've done a very good job getting pressure on the quarterback, so our guys understand this is a big game for us. Mary's still playing for an opportunity at the Mineral Water Bowl, an opportunity at the North Division Championship. We're 2 games ahead of them right now, so our guys understand the impact of this game. The fact that we're going to Mary 8.5 hours away on the road can cause some challenges, but in the same sense, we'll have an opportunity to get our guys off campus, out of town, and focused on the football game starting Friday afternoon.
It sounds like with Mary doing everything that they have this season, this being a bigger game, it sounds like it's easy to not get the guys to look past maybe to an NCAA tournament game that might be coming 3 weeks down the road.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Our guys understand, if we slip up this week, that NCAA berth is going to go out the window. So, we understand Mary's a good football team. They have a good quarterback. They've played St. Cloud State, Mankato State at home in very close football games, so they understand this is going to be a dogfight on Saturday.
We're going to turn now to our Twitter question of the week, Coach. We got this one from your boss, Athletic Director Josh Burles. So we had to ask it. He asked, which one of the coaching staff is the best at kicking field goals? My guess is that there's a story here, and you tell me that every road trip you have a little bit of a coach's challenge.
Yeah, HB's been an assistant coach for us all year, and each week we have a coach's challenge during practice that our players challenge our coaches. So HB was part of kicking field goals at the end of practice 2 weeks ago, and he did a good job. It was actually him and Johnny Hanna squared off for the championship. HB was on defense and Johnny was on offense. Johnny hooked it left, and I don't think he's heard the end of it from his dad yet. So between HB and I don't know. We haven't kicked off yet, but HB wears boots at practice, so he had a square toe on and hit 2 field goals to beat Johnny.
A lot of experience in HB's foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck this weekend out at Mary.
Thank you.
Before we close out our half hour tonight, we're going to look ahead to next week here in Bulldog Country. The men's hockey team back in action Friday and Saturday at North Dakota. The women's team is on the road to Ohio State. Volleyball closes out its regular season. That Saturday matchup looms large with right now number 1 ranked Concordia St. Paul in town. And the basketball teams both open their regular seasons. Women at a tournament in Missouri and the men at Michigan Tech. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. Bulldogs fans, remember you can keep up with any and all UMB news on our website, nncnow.com. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Until then, I'm Zach Schneider. Thanks for watching Bulldog Country on the My9 Sports Network.